Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another FlyJSim live stream. Today it's the 8th of June 2026, 3 minutes past 5 in the evening here in the United Kingdom. We're back in XP12 in the upcoming FlyJSim 737-200 V4 update. Now, this aircraft has been on this channel before. The first stream of this aircraft was 7 years ago, back in X-Plane 11, and we flew it so many times. It was a fantastic little add-on, and the main developer Jack took some time off due to a family bereavement, and sort of left FlyJSim to the side for a short while, still plugging away at their excellent Dash 8, but he's finally released, or about to release, the V4 update for the FlyJSim 737-200. So massive thank you to Jack for sending me an early access copy. Should be released on Friday the 12th of June. We did a little test sector yesterday. They've fixed lots of little quirks with the aircraft that was in the earlier version. One of the things I used to comment on was the pitch authority. It now pitches far more realistically. For those of you new to the channel, and most of you are regular viewers, but I've got a 737 rating, but not on the 200, so I do fly like an NG and a Max, but there's enough familiarity between the older model 200 here and the new jets to have a reasonable go at flying it accurately. Anyway, what we're going to do for our test sector, we're live time, live weather in Spain, a domestic sector between Valencia and Santiago de Compostela, flight time around 1 hour 20 minutes. We're on full realistic, so we've got the original Sperry SP-77 Autopilot with control wheel steering, pitch only, and outhold. It also has Amy Parent, who's well known in the flight sim industry for her excellent UNS-1 FMS. That's been installed to this aircraft along with something called the MFD 640, so you can actually utilise this aircraft using modern aviation techniques, RNAV airways. You can even fly RNAV approaches using this system as well, which is really, really neat. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft today. We'll soon have in chat. We've actually got Jack from FlyJSim in chat, so if you have any questions, feel free to put them towards him. Welcome and thank you, and you're most welcome. And we've made some posts on Facebook and Instagram with this aircraft and a reel. I think the reel on Instagram I posted this morning has already had over 30,000 views and 1,000 likes. It's been such a popular return for this aircraft. It's always been a channel favourite. So many subscribers have been really looking forward to me showcasing this aircraft again. Remember, this aircraft is not yet released. It should be on Friday. There are a few little quirks here and there, but on my test sector I found just in the flare there was a little bit of yawing, but I think that's all aircraft in X-Plane. I was actually looking back at a couple of other streams I did recently. I understand X-Plane 12 are releasing a flight model update to fix this issue, but I had a bit of yawing on the test sector. But there she is, completely cold and dark. I've got it in a plain white livery. We're flying as Alpaca Airways, our virtual airline today. You can see the JTAD shining away. Fantastic default sounds in this add-on. You don't need any sound packs at all. Anyway, who else we've got in chat whilst we spin around the aircraft? FPVC, hope you're doing well. Can't wait to hear the JTADs again. The sound pack is fantastic. AJ Fredar, I love seeing those shiny cigar tubes. Look very, very nice indeed. Hope you're doing Pete very well. Andy H 1302, welcome back. Loved it in X-Plane 11. So many people had this aircraft in X-Plane 11 as well. TriSim Jet Pilot, I can see in chat as well. Excellent. So look, we'll get the aircraft set up, and as I said, the flight time's not that long today, 1 hour 20 minutes. So I'll do my best to interact with you as much as possible in chat, but give me the opportunity during the setup to get as much setup as possible. I have occasional chat as well. Yeah, the external model's looking really, really nice. I love the sort of work on the aircraft. So you sort of had a few bashes in its day. So it's got these metal patches around the fuselage, which is really, really cool. It's a really smart external model, very similar to the 737-200 with the APU inlet door. The cargo doors are open. But anyway, there we are. We'll jump into the cockpit. I've got an incredibly loud GPU. I might just see if I can turn that down somehow by just turning the exterior sounds down. So there we are. Perfect. So completely cold and dark. There's no tablet with this add-on. Maybe there'll be one in the future like they have with their Dash 8 with FlyJSim, but a lot of the interaction's done with various sort of things in the menu here. So you've got your V card. This brings it all back with the FlyJSim, so you can basically set your flaps, get all your V speeds and all your bugs here as well. Options as well. So things we're going to have today. Using the authentic Sperry Autopilot. The original FlyJSim didn't have this. You had the sort of one that had a little bit more functionality, so it had an indicated airspeed hold mode, which wasn't a feature on this autopilot. We're flying authentic using CWS to pitch the aircraft when we're using the autopilot today. This is a super add-on as well. Oh, GPU's still pretty loud, is it? Hold on. Let's see if I can turn it down further. There we are. This is a really cool addition, a gravel kit. So I'll enable this here. You can actually just see a few adjustments here in the cockpit as well, so things like gravel protection systems. We're going to do a stream soon with the gravel kit, so you can see here the nose wheel protection effectively stops things flicking onto the fuselage there, and you've got this thing that blows all the gravel out of the way. So we're going to do some gravel ops ASAP, so that's really cool to see that the gravel kit is an option here. Maybe close the door, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll simulate boarding's complete and everyone's on board. So what I'll do here is go to doors and close the doors here. I've already got everything done regarding the air stairs. Although, hold on, retracting, there we are. So all this is modelled nicely. You can see the air stairs retracting. I don't even think we have that with the PMDG, do we? Definitely don't have it with the Zebra mod, but yeah, that's definitely helped mute the GPU slightly. I can turn it up slightly. But yeah, there you go. There's some of the options. But let's now get the aircraft powered up. So put the battery on. GPU's on the bus. There we are. We've got a power here. Is that quite loud now? Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe I'll put my mic a little bit closer to my mouth. But we'll turn up the volume a bit more now. Turn that down slightly here. So battery on, GPU is on the bus. We'll pop on the electric hydraulic pumps. We have a ground interconnect valve which will open, which sends hydraulics to both flight control systems. Verify the landing gear lever is down. We have 3 green lights here, and we'll imagine the ship's library. All the paperwork's up to date. I'll now turn on the UNS FMC because that takes a while to power up. This is similar, well, it's similar, I think it's identical to the one that you have in the I was going to say the Dash 8. It's still as loud to us. Is it that loud still? Yeah, maybe I'll turn it down further. My goodness me, I didn't realise it was so loud. It sounds very quiet on my side. Thanks for the feedback, guys, regarding the stream. It's better now you move the mic closer, maybe. That's a bit too close. Thanks for the feedback, guys. We'll do the fault and fire test now. Squibs, there's only 1 extinguisher test switch, unlike in the engine max with there's 2. Overheat detector, so you've got the engine overheats, the APU overheat detector, and you've got an overheat detector on the master caution system. Let's test the fire system. There we are, fire warning bells. There we are. I can't sleep now, so excited to fly this beauty. Very exciting touchscreen. Piano learner channel is still finding it far too loud. Right. There we go. Is that better? Really low. Fault and fire test complete. Onto the overhead panel. Passenger exit. Emergency exit lights are armed. Seatbelt signs are on. Now, I did mention this to Jack. I don't know if this is going to return. On the original FlyJSim 737 for X-Plane 11, you had the ability to load cargo and passengers via an option here. At the moment, it's using X-Plane's default loading system, which is fine. It's quite functional. So essentially, you grab your operational flight plan from SimBrief, do your loading. I've loaded 100 passengers today. It's given me a zero fuel weight of 40 and a fuel of 6.3 tons, and you use this to manipulate it. So essentially I put 6.3 here in the iOS, and then you adjust your total payload weight. So I've just basically filled up 9.4 to make sure that we have the same zero fuel weight. So if I go here then to the tablet, not the tablet, sorry, the V card, you'll see the zero fuel weight there, 39,941, matches now the operational flight plan. And I did that just by manipulating the total payload weight gauge here. So there's not much functionality regarding where to put passengers. You just have these economy sections, but essentially as long as the weight matches SimBrief you should get similar performance. Wing Viking, that's Bjorna. Because of XP12 updates, the loading system has to be rewritten. Jack has said he might do it. Ah, great. Well, you know, this certainly makes it usable, and you know, the amount of work, I have no clue on how these things are developed, but I should think it's a considerable amount of work to get an aircraft from a previous sim to work in a new sim, but I personally miss the old loading tool. I'd love to see it back. Anyway, we've got the fuel and payload on board, 100 passengers, some checked in bags. We'll continue with the panel scan. Flaps are up, which match the indicated position. We'll just do a quick takeoff config warning check, and that's looking good. All the indications are fine. Cargo fire warning test. There we are, forward aft. Fire warning lights illuminated. Love that old school bell. A rudder trim, which I think is also the same size as a steering wheel in a Mini Cooper. Absolutely huge. But there you are. If you have an engine failure, at least you'll have no issue finding that. An aileron trim, but otherwise it's a tiny pedestal on the 200. Onto the overhead panel here. Check the stall warning systems. Sounds great. Flight recorder's checked. You can see on my test sector I've done some time already. Crew oxygen and passenger oxygen sufficient. An ADF tuner's up here. You can test the leading edge devices if you wish. You then check all the safety equipment. And yeah, there's a little bit of a cabin modelled, which is pretty cool. I've already saved some views for this stream, although it looks like all the windows close automatically. But there we are. I've got a leading edge view of the left wing and a trailing edge view of the right wing there. And the cool buckets we'll use once we get to Santiago. Evan Bones, yes, the maintenance system is still available. So here it is. You can see I've done some test sectors. My APU's been running for 0.1 hours. My engine's for 2.13 and 2.14 and 1.7 hours, and you can continue flying and not maintain the aircraft and the condition will deteriorate. There's also things that can break, so at the moment there's nothing to report. The aircraft is fully serviceable and you can replace items if you wish to as well. So be careful, because with these engines, if the engines are running, if you firewall it like that, you'll start surging. So you've got to really be smooth with the JT-ADs, adding power and reducing power as well. Lemon Wolf, where's the rudder trim again? I think I missed it. Yeah, there it is. Absolute chonk. Great. Don't forget, Jack's here in chat. If you have any questions, be sure to join the FlyJSim Discord as well, where I'm sure many of your questions will be answered far more reliably than what I can provide. Right, we've done some sort of safety inspection. I am on VATSIM, but there's no VATSIM controllers here. So looking at the live weather, let me just grab the operational flight plan. That's the SID we're following later. Here we are. Valencia is a beautiful city if you get a chance to visit as well. Flown out of this base a few times too. Yeah. So I'm on a remote stand here, stand 12, will be taxiing straight out onto Whiskey, slight left turn onto November, and we'll do a full length departure of runway 12. And then we'll brief the SID later. We'll set the local QNH, which I think I did before the start of the stream. So the weather's really nice. We've got clear skies, 26 degrees, QNH 1016. The weather at Santiago is alright. This IFR broken at 600, and I think it's dropping. So we might take a little bit of extra fuel. However, I think the fuel flow at the moment is a little bit lower than what SimBrief is suggesting. So I did a test sector yesterday and I think I was only burning about 1.6, 1.7 tonnes an hour, when it should be, I think, about 2.5. So if I don't take any extra fuel, I should have additional fuel by the time we get to Santiago. Hopefully that will be fixed moving forward. RTC Mal, there's a lot of subscribers in chat here. I've not seen in chat for a very long time. It's great to see some familiar names here. I think Mal, you've been in the previous stream. 300 plus hours in the XP11 version. Glad it's coming to XP12. Looking forward to learning the UNS-1. Well, you're going to get a real crash course on how to operate it today, that's for sure. Let's get it loaded. So, latest air rack installed. Expires 10th of June. Let's press accept. I've made some notes from my previous stream, the FlyJSim-8, so we'll get the flight plan installed now, or loaded up. So here's the flight plan. Already recognises I'm in Valencia. I then typically select this to put in the destination, so that's Santiago, and there's lots of different ways of doing this. You can put the route in. I like to put departure and arrival in first. So we've got the basic routing of Valencia to Santiago, but we need to now put the SIDS and stars in and the route. So if you go here to menu, go to departure, select the runway, so runway 1, 2 in use, so press 1. The SID we're following today is a Centre 8 Golf, so that is number 3. Enter, and I think I can just simply press enter there. There we are, so that's put the SID in. So you've got straight ahead 2 miles, 123 radial, intercept an arc inbound to Charlie Lima Sierra, enter centre. So the SID is in. We now need to put the routing in, so we can select the no link button here. Once you've done that, click list, and then you can put in the next VOR. So essentially after Cessna we're going to go to November 733 to DSAT, so you press Airways, November 733 from centre, enter, and we're going to DSAT, which is on the next page. Where are you, DSAT? Or not DSAT, maybe I can go to, well, a centre to A? I don't know where DSAT is. This didn't happen on my test sector. I swear DSAT was there. Maybe I have to put it. Oh no, there it is. Number 2. I found it. Enter. There you go. After DSAT, direct to Forno. So I can just simply type in Forno. Forno like this. Enter. Accept. And now I can put the star in. So to do that, you can go to menu, arrival. It's going to be runway 35 today. Enter. It's going to be a 401 Foxtrot RMP star. Enter. And then we're going to fly the ILS Zulu for runway 35, number 3. Enter. Via, I think it's a normal transition. I'll just double check the charts. Yeah, via normal, so number 1. Enter. There we are. So now if I go to fly plan, you should see it all join up. There's no discontinuities. I think, yeah, this happened yesterday. I had a duplicate of Normo, which is not a problem. I can just simply press Normo delete. Delete again. There you go. And it now goes from Normo direct to the centre fix. So here we are. We now have the FMC all sort of loaded and linked up. The lateral routing's in. And you have this display, the MFD 640. And this is very similar to what remaining 737-200s are flying, which are installed with this system with the UNS and MFD display, which is pretty cool. Jack, unfortunately I need to leave for a bit. If anyone has questions they can ask on the FlyJSim Discord. I'll check back in when I'm back. It's about an hour. Awesome, Jack. Well, thank you very much for popping in at the start of the stream. As I already mentioned, Jack has mentioned, be sure to join the FlyJSim Discord if you have any questions about the V4 update for the 737-200, which is coming on 12th of June, this Friday. Amazing. Right then, a little bit more information I can put in here. So if I go to, is it fuel? Yeah, so I can put some basic weight information here. So again, I can use the iOS. So all I need to tell it is my 0 fuel weight. In fact, I don't even need to use the INS. I need the V cards. No, where is it? It's under, no, it is under the V card. There we are. So 0 fuel weight 39941. I mean, I could get super accurate with this. So collect 0 fuel weight 39941. Enter, and fuel on board is exactly 6.3, so 6.3, and that's all it needs. With that information it can calculate the gross weight 46241, you can see that's here, and when you progress on your route the fuel goes down and all the fuel flow and information you can get from the UNS is accurate as well. So essentially that's it. It doesn't have VNAV with regards to in the autopilot, but it does have a VNAV mode where after top of climb you can select a target VS and it will give you a top of descent and a target vertical speed to make each restriction on the approach, which is really cool. But the autopilot is really basic, this Sperry SP-77 with the pitch mode. Raspel, thanks, 88 months as a member. Norway will win the World Cup and Airbus is like a robot vacuum. Real men vacuum by hand. What a comment. Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much for popping in today. And yes, World Cup starts this weekend, I believe. So our members group fly actually is taking part in Texas in preparation for the World Cup as well. Amazing. Thanks for popping in today. Golden Aviation, hello, it's great to see another streaming X-Plane, especially in an old and lovely bird like this. Yes, it's a channel favourite and a classic FlyJSim aircraft as well. Right, I think the UNS is pretty much all ready to go and loaded. I'll just leave it on the flight plan page. We'll now set up the MCP, which I did before the stream. So that's runway heading. These are the courses for the SID. QNH are set on all 3 altimeters, so the standby 1016 and the captains and first officers as well, indicating the elevation 260 feet. We'll go on the overhead panel now, do a panel scan. So that's all configured and set. Your dampers on. The compass, no IRS on this, of course. Compass is slaved with the magnetic north, I think. VHF, vertical gyro, compass, will leave those in the normal position. Check the crossfeed valve, bright, dim, bright, and off. Fuel pumps on, no fuel in the centre tank today. Galley power should be on. This is stuff we don't have on the NG and Max regarding generator oil temperature. I don't think you can control it, but you can monitor the temperature in different parts of the IDG. Let's start the APU, so we'll move it to start. Maybe I'll just hold it down a bit longer just in case it didn't boot up. There we are. Window heat comes on. Now I know on the classic 7.3 you can only use 1 pack at a time. I assume that's the same with the 200 when we start it, so we'll make sure when the APU bleeds on we're already providing pressure to 1 pack. Temperatures will leave on auto, packs we'll leave off for now. Open the isolation valve. Again, I set this up pre-stream, so 30,000 feet, land elevation 1200 in Santiago, cabin altitude I got off this scale, so 30,000 feet, cabin altitude 5,800. It's got an automatic pressurization mode controller, but you must flick this switch to flight, otherwise you will die. So if I forget on the before taxi flow, please let me know in chat. Great, lighting's all configured for now. Sperry Autopilot's configured as I want it. Various tests to do down here, so you can do light tests as you normal, test the yaw damper, engine vibration gauges, engine oil quantity test. Perfect. I topped it all before the start of the stream. Stop altitude. This again, this autopilot has no ability to capture autopilot in the most realistic mode, the authentic mode, so you have to manually level off in control wheel steering, then select out hold. It is that basic. Trim, if you press this, it will set the correct trim based off your CG, and the radio tuning panel will set for our departure. It's based off the Valencia VOR, so 16.1 will make that active on box 1, and then inbound to the Calais VOR 11755. Full lib radio modelling, so if I select nav 1, you can get the ident. Here's the ident for Valencia VOR coming up. Victor Lima Charlie, so that's correct. And then you can control the volume here with that switch. Right, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So what I'm going to do is put the APU on the bus, and we'll disconnect the GPU. So options, excuse me, GPU cart disconnect. There is also a virtual first officer, which completes flows. I'm not using today. Amy's developing that for this add-on, which I will use, I think, in a future stream. I'll have a play of it at some point. Performance then. There is a little checklist included here with the add-on, so you can get some basic information. These engines will catch fire if you fireball them and leave them for too high thrust setting for too long. So for takeoff, we're going to set a takeoff M1 of 97% to around EPR 2.15. We must reduce the thrust to 92% of the engine, otherwise the engines get very hot, then overheat and catch fire. So we must respect these thrust limitations. And then we'll maintain around 250 knots at the climb. Above 100, 280 knots, and then we'll maintain that indicated airspeed and fly at a Mach of 0.74. All using control wheel steering with pitch. There's no performance calculator regarding sort of how much runway you're going to use and your climb performance. There's not one on SimBrief either. So this is a long enough runway. You can just simply rotate this or click this to select your flap setting, and it will set all your V speeds based off your present weight. You can then press set bugs. There you are, and it will set your bugs automatically. There's X-plane being X-plane. You can see the wind influencing the indicated airspeed. On the NG and Max, that only comes alive above 40 knots, so it could be a classic thing. Anyway, there's our V speeds, 31, 32, 38. We'll select flat 1 at 153 knots, flaps up at 190 knots, so I'll make a note of this so don't forget. And we'll then accelerate to the up. I don't know what the clean speed is. probably about, we'll just do 220 to be safe. Cool. Alright, so we've briefed the taxi, the SID, so we're going to utilise UNS. It will fly all this accurately. DME arcs, really nice. I did this on the test sector, but essentially this SID has us climb straight ahead 2 miles. At 2 DME, we'll make a slight right turn to intercept the 123 radial, L-bound from Valencia till 9 DME, and then we make a left turn on an 11-mile arc to route direct to the Calais VOR, making sure we're at 80 and then 100 at centre. But there is an initial stop altitude of 6,000 feet, and I will level off at 6,000 feet to do the after takeoff checklist and go from there. Cool, so we are pretty much ready to go. Again, there is no one on VATSIM here. We're on 122.8. We'll get the engine started. Chat, what we've got to say here. They trail a very well modelled fire until they fail to. I'll try not to test that today. Snail mail, my cough sounded authentic. When passengers could, of course, smoke on board, of course. Bjorna, the Winged Viking, also a fun quirk of how the UNS was integrated in the 732. You need to set the autopilot to heading hold for it to follow the UNS. Yes, to follow the guide here, you slip to GPS here and then go heading select, and that will ensure that the aircraft follows the pre-planned route. Interestingly, I guess if you are then provided a heading by ATC, you have to select heading off or turn off UNS, go to nav mode maybe to then go on a radar heading. Not so sure with that, so hopefully won't get too much ATC there. Cool, so there we go. Let's now get the engines started. So transponder, we'll set that to 2000 and standby to out of. Packs off, AP bleed on, pressure's increasing, dual bleed, anti-collision lights on, parking brake is set, and the transponder's out off. Good. I'm not using New Sky to log this flight today. I have no idea if the FlyJSim 737-200 for XP11 is incompatible with New Sky, but it probably is. I'll try to get on a future flight. But we are flying as Alpaca 732 today. Right then, clear prop. Let's start engine number 2. Now, at the moment, the engine start time is a little fast. Again, these are limitations in XP12, and also I've been told that when the new flight model update is going to come, it's going to allow improvements in this. But yeah, N2 is very quick to accelerate. We have M1, we have oil pressure, and the low oil pressure light's extinguished. Fuel on. Have a little listen to this. Crank up the volumes now. Missed that sound? Awesome. Okay, looks like a good start on engine number 2. Starting engine number 1. I'll just turn the sounds down slightly because I know some people have said it's too loud today. Where are we looking? N2. Oil pressure. N1. Already at 30%. Fuel on. So yeah, the light up's a little bit too fast, but it will be fixed in the future. Proper pencil engine, I know it's tiny. There we are, 2 good starts. All the master cautions have extinguished. Let's now do the before taxi flow. Generators on, I've taken on the load. APU off, start switches to low ignition. Probe heat on. Close the interconnect switch. Packs on, isolation valve auto, APU bleed off. Here comes the air conditioning. Don't forget to switch this to flight, otherwise you will die. Flaps to 5. Perfect. Flight controls. Forward, back, left, right. Rudders, right and left. Perfect. There's no... Oh no, there is a recall. Of course there is. Recall, no master cautions before taxi checklist complete. Awesome. So what we're going to do is taxi out to runway 12 via Whiskey and November, and then get on out of here. I think someone was on traffic here, or I heard some traffic, so we'll just make our intentions clear on Unicom. Valencia traffic, Alpaca 732's taxi to runway 12. Alright, perfect. Parking brake released. We'll just slowly add the thrust to do a config check. No config warning check. Oh, sorry, no sounds. Release the brakes. Off we go. Wonderful. great to be back in this add-on again. Alright, so on to Whiskey. Take the first left turn here, which will take us to November. Great FPS on this add-on as well. Performance is superb. What's my FPS? Yeah, it's pegged at 60, which is what I've got it capped to. Perfect. The workload is super high on this as well. You're gonna love watching me fly this. It's really difficult, but that's what we love. We love the challenge. Spec, and the controls delayed as they were in XP11. Nope, they've been fixed. Watch this. Hold on. Oh, the sound. Wait for it. Let me just get Yokan up. There we go. Watch the elevator. Look at that. Much better. So this is exactly as it should have been in earlier builds. Before it was delayed and it made flaring really difficult, so they fixed that. Have a listen to these sounds. We'll do a little taxi pass for you. I'll just zoom back a little bit. I'll give it some as well. I think they get a bit smoky as well when I add a bit of thrust. I'm just putting a little bit of brakes on. Watch this. And they're slow to react as well, just like with the real aircraft. Cool, isn't it? Oh, who has missed this add-on? I have. So cool. Oh, awesome. Alright, let's do the before takeoff checklist. The config we've checked. Flaps we have 5 green lights. Stab trim is set for departure, 5 units. Takeoff briefing. Packs are on, bleeds are on. V-speeds are set for departure. Where's my bug card? There they are. We've got 31 for V1, 32 for VR, 38 set for V2. The departure is going to be a centre 8 Golf, straight ahead 2 miles, right turn until 9 DME, and then we're going to make an 11 DME arc inbound to whatever the next VR is. I've forgotten. The Calais VR, climbing to an altitude of 6,000 feet, which is set. Remember, you have to manually level off in CWS, then press out hold. And we'll treat it as NADP2. I can't remember. I've flown out of Valencia a lot. I can't remember if it's NADP1 or 2. I think it might be 1. I'm just having a look at my operator's notes quickly for Valencia so I can remember what noise abatement departure procedure. I mean, this aircraft needs noise abatement. It's so loud. Hold on, let me have a look here. Valencia. It is NADP. Oh, stupid iPad. NADP. Oh, it is NADP2. Perfect. So we'll bug up at 1,200 feet. NADP and a 200. Yeah, no. Oh gosh, I was too busy looking at chat. There we are. See the X-Plane's camera system jerking around as we move. No INS. I don't know if the Seaver plugin, the third-party one, is compatible with the V4 update. It's not available from default, but like I said, I think the UNS you're going to get a lot more flexibility out of it. The original one didn't come with INS either. You had to have that Philips plugin. Alright, cool. Just check the map on X-Pilot, make sure no one's on final. I think all okay. There we are, live traffic. We're all good. I think there's an aircraft at the other end of the airport lining up. Yeah, there's a little business jet there, so just see what his intentions are. If you have the C for V2, you can use it as a popper. Oh, just like with the Colomata Concorde there. Yeah, perfect. So we'll just see what our little business jet's doing first. Oh, the brake school is so cool. Have a listen to this. Wait. Did you hear that? It's what you'll hear it on the landing. So where's that little business jet? There he is. sinking into the ground, it would seem. I'll let him go first. It looks like he's lining up regardless. We can line up. He's in front of us. Let's just traffic Alpaca 732 is lining up where we want to. Oh, he looks like he's stopped. Just very quiet on that. Alright, we'll enter an active runway, no one's on final. Transponder, TARA. We're just getting lined up, guys. The sports car taxis beautifully. Ah, perfect, Roger. Roger, thanks, taking off from runway 12 now, Alpaca 732. Alright, so MCP is set as I can, as much, we'll do a raw data departure, transponder TARA, strobe lights on, we'll turn the weather radar on later, there's no weather here, and clear the takeoff. Right, we'll make a note of the takeoff time, 1638 Zulu, let's go to Santiago, wish me luck guys. Turn up the volume slightly. Oh, my compass, hello, stabilised, set takeoff thrust. No auto throttle, remember. Okay, 2.15. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
80 knots.
Checks, release forward pressure.
E1, rotate.
Up we go. Oh, she's so short. There's a dead band as well, very nice. And we're airborne. Once we're in a climb, gear up. Up to about 20 degrees to hold the speed. What a beast. Get ready for the sound, for the flyby. Here we go. Alright, reducing thrust to 90% M1 and lowering the nose. Go to around 1,000 feet per minute. Waiting for 153, flaps 1. Switch this to GPS. There we are, so got some guidance there. There's the right turn at 2 miles. Waiting for 190 knots. 190 knots, flaps up. Fully manual aeroplane this, guys. Mach 250. Turn the sounds down a bit so you can actually hear what I'm saying. Intercepting the HSI, which is slave to the UNS. Doing about 1,500 feet per minute. Alright. Almost on course. So we're intercepting the 123 radial outbound. Slight left turn, approaching 250 knots. Trimming those down, which is pretty good there. Alright, approaching 250, so start pitching up to maintain 250, whilst keeping the same thrust setting. And now I'm going to show you this funky autopilot. Okay, aileron elevator, press heading cell to follow the UNS route, and now you have to pitch using this CWS. So now I'm going to have to lower the nose to about 2,000 feet per minute and control thrust with the thrust levers, and I'll show you what you have to do. Oh, I'm still with flap 1. Oops, thanks. Let's check flaps 1. Oh, this has flap 2, doesn't it? I forgot. My bad. I just blew the flaps off. So reducing thrust to maintain 250. There is no, Joshua, there is no IS hold with the authentic Sperry. There's no IS hold, it only has CWS. Okay, lowering the nose, 1,000 feet per minute. Here comes the right turn for the 11-mile arc. Reduce thrust further to maintain 250 knots. It's so cool. It's so manual. So reduce thrust further. And it won't level off either. There's no altitude capture function. Oh, the silence until this thing flies past. Alright, get ready for the level off and then reduce thrust manually as well. Alright. So levelling off at 6,000 feet, the SID stop altitude. Alright. CWS I've never used in the NG or Max in real life, only demonstrated in the sim. There you go. Oh, thrust. Speed 250. Make really subtle changes on your control wheel steering, and then you can dump it in out hold, and it will maintain out the altitude at which you engage in now. Alright, let's get the speed under control to 250 knots. Do the after takeoff checklist. Alright. Gear off, there's no auto brake RTO, start switches off, taxi and retracts off, air conditioning and pressurization, diffs 2.2 psi steady, set. Release the cabin crew altimeters, we've got 1016 maintaining 6,000 feet, having to add thrust to maintain 250 knots, after takeoff checklist is complete. And credit to Amy here with the UNS, look at that, if I go here, flying this DMER really accurately, really cool to see. So what I'm going to do now is give myself direct to Calais, and then we'll continue climb to our cruise level. So you can go here, DTO number 3 for Calais, enter, there you go, it's already updated, it's making the turn, and then we'll climb up to our cruise on flight level 300. How's the sound, guys? Do you want me to turn the sim down a little more? Can you hear me? It's very loud. 300 checked, and remember it's in CWS only, so I have to disconnect out hold, set climb thrust and pitch up. Okay, there's about 90% M1, pitch up to maintain 250 knots, pitch up, up. And it's still, the autopilot is still engaged in aileron following the lateral route, so you just pitch. Sounds good to me, cheers guys. Amazing, so I'll pitch up a bit more, look, to maintain 250 knots. I don't know what, yeah, I think you've got flight directors for pitch hold, but I can engage it for heading cell, I think. So I think heading follows the correct route. But yeah, there's no autopilot, the autopilot won't follow the flight directors. It's bonkers. There we are, EPR, a little bit high, about 92%, so just take a bit of thrust off. Okay, flight, there's 250 knots, so just, again, look, pitching down, you can see on the yoke controls, I'm having to lower the nose with CWS to maintain 250 knots. That's a good question, Lemon Wolf. I don't know if you make an aileron input, if it'll disconnect, but you can obviously still make pitch inputs with aileron engaged. Alright, there's flight level 100, so what I can do now is lower the nose, using CWS nice and smoothly. Okay, get to around 750 feet per minute. There we are. Too much, otherwise we'll descend. We'll bug 280 just as a reference and target. Set standard in a second as well. When we're at 280, I'll start pitching up. Coming up to 280 knots now, so start pitching up. So maintain the speeds. I think that's about there. I like the fact it's slowly accelerating a bit, and this means that we won't get into a low speed situation. There we are, happy with that attitude. There we are, okay, I'll turn yoke cam off for a second, set standards. 1013 once. 1013 set. Where's the other altimeter? Twice. Got all of the comparators going off because everything's set differently. And 1013 set 3 times. Wonderful. Alright, we're inbound to the Calais VOR, so we might as well make 11755 active. There we are, so we've got DME information, both the RMIs are pointing to the VOR, and this distance here is your UNS distance. Okay. There we are, on our way guys. And you can progress, monitor the progress of your route here. We've got full weather radar integration as well. So weather turbulence, terrain display, increase your range, it's great. Just gives you so much more flexibility. Get all your progress on route, look, now you have your ETAs, superb. Just keep monitoring our speed, so yeah, look, that attitude I've set with climb thrust maintaining about 282 knots indicated. Josh, you're meant to use your yoke for pitch and bank with the autopilot on to avail a pitch on the CWS unless you're in heading state. Yeah, I am using my yoke, sir. Unless you're answering someone in chat. What variants are we getting with this combi converted freighter? So you get the gravel kit and just the passenger variants. I think there's Lufthansa, Air France, a few others. An all-white one here, which is pretty cool, pretty generic. And no doubt there'll be lots of third-party people making high-detailed liveries. I understand the previous ones worked, I believe. William, is this harder to fly than the Felis 742? From a operating aircraft from A to B, yes, the autopilot requires more sort of closer sort of monitoring. So you can see here as we climb, obviously this fixed altitude, the indicated airspeed is beginning to drop, so I need to make a little adjustment to pitch down, not a big one, just to reduce the rate of climb. There you go. So I've just reduced it from around 2,000 feet per minute to probably go a little bit more than 1,500, just to control the speed. So from that perspective, it is a higher workload aircraft, but system-wise, there's less to do. Richard Bot, I believe so. Golden Aviation Reel, I recently built myself a DIY yoke and switch panel using 3D printed parts. I'm now hooked on yokes. What came to be a surprise is how different it is to a stick, yet still easy. Yes. Yes, the yoke is the way. So I'll maintain around 280 knots in the climb until we're doing Mach 0.74 our cruise. As I mentioned, we took a direct shortcut off the arc direct to the Calais VOR. Already well above the minimum flight level of 80. There's Spain in its beautiful glory and explain map enhancement. Looking very nice. I fear in real life it's a lot louder sat by this window. And Tobago, is this an Airbus pilot's worst nightmare? Yes, if he was to find himself in this contraption in panic. FlyJSim, can't wait to fly this bit amazing. It should be available for you guys on Friday. Josh, the ram air doors closed? Yes. Alstian, XP12 looks really good from high altitudes. Well, bear in mind, this is XP map enhancement, not stock XP12. So, yeah, and XP map enhancement is completely free, but above sort of 10,000 feet looks really crisp, really clear. Oh, Lemon, it'll take me a while to adapt with the autopilot. It's honestly really simple to use. Fly, can you use trim? Good question. I think if you trim it disconnects the autopilot, so no, just pitch for speed, that's all. Michael, how hard is map enhancement to install run? It's super easy, super easy. You have to make a couple of folders, install it, off you go. I mean, if I could do it, compared to managing ortho tiles, so much easier. Eva flew on this back in February and the noise is insane next to the engine. No way, was that with Laminar in Alaska or Canada or something? Amazing. Alright, so again, just make that slight pitch adjustment just to lower the nose. You can get the flight director bar, I think, in pitch, just to do a random pitch. So if I rotate this, look, there you go, you can sort of set a bit of a target. Let's just check the thrust. Yeah, I don't want to set much more with that. Temperatures are fine in the green, but 92% M1 is more than enough. N2's close enough to the caution zone. So again, I've just done a little bit of a pitch down. Just maintain maybe around 1,000 feet per minute. It's dead, honestly, it's dead easy. You just have to monitor the system, and it won't level off. That's all. You just have to do it yourself, but then you can chuck it in out holes. Bob's your own. greetings, Emmanuel. Is the horn alarm button working? I remember it didn't work in the XP11. Horn alarm button. Don't know what this one. Oh, wait, that's something else. Not sure. Let's see, oh god, it is loud. I can barely hear the membership ping. I'll just turn that down a little more, I think. There we are. McBoyd, thank you, 4 months. Remember, glad to see the FlyJSim's back. Just ordered by UPC yesterday. This will be the first new purchase when I'm up and running. Superb. Yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to flying this airline for sure. It's great to have it back. 4 years since our last stream in this aircraft, and top marks if anyone in chat can remember what country we flew in the last FlyJSim 737-200. Adrian, you need a wing view. Yeah. Oh, I love this spot view actually. I think if you go here and rotate, you get all the noise at the back. Bowl, Saudi Arabia, that is correct. There's Saudi Air. Awesome. I'm a bit concerned about my indicated airspeed. I feel like I should go inside soon. Speed up the spin. Oh yeah, don't forget to do the post-cruise checks, just realised my lights are on. Speed's good, 272 knots. So, fuel 4 pumps, lights off, verify the APU's off, pressurisation's good, duct pressure 6.8 psi, slowly climbing. That's all set, release the passengers. Light your cigarettes. Recall checks complete. Sasha, flying Walnut 737, most generous, thank you. Hope you're not at work today. Thank you. Oh.
Just watch the DC-6
Yes.
Here's a little something to go towards a bottle of whiskey. Still hurting from laughing. Legendary skill episode.
That's most kind. Thank you very much, Sasha, for your £5 donation. That was fun. If you missed it, guys, go to my main home YouTube page, live streams, and check out the last live stream we did in the PMDG DC-6, where I lost full elevator control on the approach. I think there's a bug, or someone confirmed in chat. There is a bug with certain CGs. If you load the main cargo hold in the PMDG DC-6, you lose, it chucks the CG well out of limit. So on rotation, we nearly crashed because it wouldn't rotate until I went about 50 knots above VR. Forgot about it, and then on approach, we just lost elevator control again. And we managed to land it using thrust or power to control pitch and to roll the airplane to get a pitching moment as well. We got it on a runway, which is I was pretty impressed myself. I'm a modest man. There you go. Cheers, Sasha. Thank you very much. Laminar says the bucket reverse is correct. Jamlin, hope you're doing well, buddy. Afternoon, a little ahead of you. Heading to Lisbon today. Amazing. So, coming to 7 o'clock there. On holiday. Lemon, you made a short for that. I watched it. Yeah, I know. I make a lot of shorts now. Shorts are great because if I'm out of base or on duty, you can sort of... the editing tools on mobile phones now are great. So Instagram has something called Edits, and I'm getting more familiar with using it, and you can download it, upload it as a short as well. So I don't know, it does bring a little bit of continuous sort of content on the channel. A lot of the old streams are a good laugh as well. But I found some time today to live stream. Awesome. So progressing well nicely. Off the SID now, inbound to Prado. It's a pretty straight line, but we can set Castahon VOR as a backup. 115.6, so we can go down here. 5.6. This is another change. Digital navigation display. Digital radio tuning panel. Now, so 15.6, the RMI span round. 47 DME until we get to the Castahon VOR, and this DME here is linked to the UNS, 18 miles, and you can double check that here. There you go, 18.3 miles, 3 miles en route, and then you have all the information. The UNS there, really cool. Okay, approaching 2 to go. Tamango, that float on the test sector there, yeah, a little floaty. Michael, thanks for your comment. Always wondered, do you ever get nerves for every flight during your real job? So many lives in your hand, it must be nerve-wracking. You just get on with it. You don't really think of the people. That sounds awful. Yeah, of course you care for the people, but you're not thinking about the people in the back when you're operating the aircraft. You're thinking about operating the aircraft, following the SOPs safely. Been flying for 15 years, 8,000 hours. I've never at any point been scared or nervous. You know, I've had certain things like diverting. You think, oh, you know, I hope I made the right decision and things like that. But ultimately, if you operate the aircraft safely, safety is always the #1 priority. Commercial considerations next. You know, it doesn't just get on with it. Don't even think about it. I don't know how many passengers I've carried now. I've always logged how many passengers I've carried, which is really cool, and it's all logged on pilot log. So in my 15-year career, total stats, who would like to know how many passengers I've carried in 15 years? It's amazing how it's all keeps all this information. Bonkers. $67,000? More than 7. Oh, I've level bust. I'm too busy looking at my logbook. Oh, I've level bust. New cruise level, ladies and gentlemen. Flight level 320. See what I mean? You've got to keep your eye on this aircraft. I've carried... Hold on, let me just get my logbook out. There you go, I can even show you. 359,113. There you go. 359,113 passengers. Yeah, there you go. I didn't go through flight level 300. It's flight level 320 is the new cruise, and I'm losing speed. So let's level those around 500 feet per minute and get up to Mach 0.74. We're going to be so smooth on the elevator. No, if you're using... So, I must stress, on the FlyJSim options, you have the Sperry Authentic. So I have the Authentic Sperry SP-77 Autopilot as per the real aircraft, which has no altitude capture function. You can select this to easier mode, which gives you automatic altitude capture, and also IS hold, which was on the original FlyJSim, but on this thing you've got to do it manually. And I'm all about Authentic, guys. Anyway, now I'm actually monitoring my flight path. I can concentrate on the level of flight level 320. So the only thing that altitude alert does is alert you. It doesn't actually capture. So I've got to level off manually here. So let's gently lower the nose using CWS. Nice and smooth. I'll leave the thrust set to climb thrust because I want to accelerate to Mach 0.74. I plan to cruise speed today. So just making little pitch inputs on CWS. There we are, flight level 320. Steady, steady. It's really sensitive. There you go. Once you're level, which is about there, chuck it in out holds, and you can relax. Ooh. Hopefully it will sort itself out. Yeah, it's sorting itself out. There's decimal 74, slowly reducing thrust. Okay, so keep an eye on that. There you go, it's going back up to 320. Okay, it looks pretty stable there. Set an EPR of about 1.9 per engine. It's holding about 7.5. A little bit more thrust, let's reduce it to around 1.89. Further. There must be some table that you can reference to set certain thrust settings and maintain certain speeds. But there we are. I've set about 1.85 EPR, and that's maintaining Mach 0.76. A bit below MMO. We're nicely stable. Cool. And before I forget, now you need to tell the UNS what rate of descent you want. I found in my test sector, idle thrust descent, a nice efficient descent, is around 2,500 feet per minute, and it's quite close to idle thrust to maintain speed. So I'm going to set that again. So I'm going to select target VS, 2,500. Enter, and then it will generate a top of descent to maintain 2,500 feet per minute and make the next restrictions. And then top of descent in 36 minutes, 240 miles. There we are, we're in the cruise, decimal 76. It may take a little bit more thrust off with guzzling the gas. Very cool. Cheers. God, it's loud. Awesome. What altitude do you start looking at MAC v ground speed? We don't really look at ground speed at any point when flying an aircraft. That's more a navigational speed. So you maintain a fixed indicated airspeed until you get to your planned climb MAC number or cruise MAC number, and then you start following MAC. Sweet. Oh gosh, Mach 0.77, I might be able to take a little bit more thrust off here. $280 indicated. We're faster at 200. So climb hello, was the first FMC in a Boeing 737 or were there earlier variants in this one? That's a great question, I'm not so sure. UNS came around in the 80s, okay. Address, look at this aircraft, enjoyed the Philly 747-200 so far, a purely flight on INS, so I'll definitely grab this. Does this have INS only options? It doesn't, but you can get the third-party SIVA plug-in like you had to with the original 200 to utilise SIVA navigation if you wish. And obviously you can fly conventionally between VORs or use the UNS. Auto-5 tick, you should fly the Red Wing Super Connie. I have heard about this add-on. Is it good? Possibly. There's certainly a love for classic aviation on this channel. Beautiful view there. Just noticed on my phase here it says climb still. Is that not triggered cruise? Just going to trick it into cruise. I think it's because I need to update the planned cruise level. There we are. Uh-oh, I accidentally reset it all. Oh, I don't know how I managed that. I'm just going to restart Streamflight. Oh, the life of a professional streamer. It's never easy. Oh, it's not working now at all. When was the last time you flew a Max in real life? Is it still a rare occasion? Yesterday. I did 4 sectors yesterday. Yeah, middle of my working week today. I was in the sim earlier, and well, it was meant to be in the sim, it got cancelled, but that's why I'm streaming a little bit earlier. Right, let me just sort out this overlay. I don't know why it's crashed. Run as administrator. Yes. Fetch. Simple. There we are. Perfect. Yeah, it looks like the flight progress bar stopped working, I don't know why, but there we are. Rest information's up. Good. Well, I'm now doing Mach 0.79. I swear I had about 1.85 yesterday. Let's take a bit more first off. Take it. So yeah, one thing I've mentioned to Jack is the fuel flow is a little low. We've just passed Casterhon. We took minimum block fuel. Charlie at Juliet November. We should have 4.3 tons of fuel. If I go here to we've got 4.5, so you can already see we're nearly 300 kilos up, and I've already passed Casterhon, and by the end of the sector I was about 600-700 kilos up, so it needs a little bit of tweaking, but otherwise it's working well. Andres, by the way, I never got a chance to thank you for doing a group flight in Greece. I was one of the TMA controllers. The entire Hellenic VACC is waiting for you again. Amazing. Well, we'll have to visit Greece again at some point. Was that on our most recent group flight, I think? Yeah, we did Malta, didn't we? We first went from Athens, including myself. So thanks for your time. Very much appreciated. Yeah, this ain't no Leap 1B, no. Awesome, beautiful scenery here in Spain. Well, here's the world map. You see where we are geographically. So just east of Madrid. I look off to my left-hand side. Can't quite see it. A bit hazy, but it's very nice. Ah, yes. Anyone in XP12 having some interesting clouds at the moment? I did yesterday on my test sector, and it looks like we're getting some again. There's weird streaks and lines of clouds I had. Sasha, is there part of you that wonders what it would have been like to operate this for more of the manual handling elements? I think it'd be great to do from day to day, but we are very fortunate in real life to have the level of automation we do have, which on a long, 10-hour plus duty, you'd be very, very grateful for. I'd love to have a go on this for a week or two, but I think it would probably grate on me, the higher workload. But obviously the boys and girls back then used to do this all the time, and it would probably become second nature using this automation and the Sperry autopilots. Was the 200, or is the existing 200 that still fly, they've been retrofitted with sort of like a Collins MCP or something like that. Emmanuel, I don't know what this horn button is. I really want it to work. I don't know, we'll try after landing. Janet, if you got a significant shortcut en route and it would mean you exceed max landing weight, would you take the shortcut and expect to hold? Yeah, I mean, you'd always ensure that you were below max landing weight if it was normal operations, but I mean, typically, even at full loads of passengers, in the max and the NG, you can take quite a considerable amount of extra fuel before you get close to max landing weight, at least an hour's worth, if not more. So it's not usually an issue. Hi Michael, logged in, doing well. Yeah, she seems to settle quite nicely now at about 0.78. It's about 0.74 is the plan, so a little bit faster, but parasitic drag increasing as we speed up. It seems to have stopped accelerating now. What on earth is this music? It's like I'm playing Tropico. Skip. So here's a short sector, top of descent 27 minutes. It's in many ways it feels like home. It is very, you can see the NG and Max where they came from. It's just got the conventional instruments, but it just hasn't changed. The event panel's almost identical. Obviously the big difference is displays, the flight management computer, the automation, but essentially it's the same aeroplane as the NG and Max. There we are. I think total seat capacity is 130. It's got a cabin modelled. It's a little basic, but it does. Actually, no, it's actually quite nice. Good 3D elements. I don't think it's. Well, I don't know how much of a modification it's had for V4 update for XP12, but I know the windows all go up and down, which is pretty cool. Nice fabric seats. There's the short, stubby ailerons. Yeah, think you can take the cabin quite out, yeah. Jam, we should do a failure stream where you navigate by the stars. Yes, I'll get my sextant out. Flyboy, any tips for managing nerves for flight tests? Got my PPL skills test this week. Well, firstly, best of luck. You know, being nervous is completely natural. Anyone who said they weren't nervous before a test of any sorts would be lying. I mean, as a TRE, I have to be checked every 6 months as well with my own LPC. I'm not completely stress-free, you know. There's always an element of you know, you've got to perform, especially as an instructor examiner. So best of luck, manage it, just relax as best as you can, do something relaxing the day before. Swimming climb, did you see the Grand Prix yesterday in Monaco? I did, it was a bit of a mess. I loved how the highlights reel on the YouTube went from lap 1 to lap 26 or 28. I mean, I understand the historic importance of Monaco. It's always been sort of hand in hand with F1, but it isn't a race, it's a parade. But it was a mess at one point, wasn't it? There was a couple of crashes. There was multiple penalties for, was it speeding in the pit lane because of some weird rule with how one of the garages were? I don't know. Yeah. I think George Russell's is struggling a bit under the pressure. Mr. Consistency, he ain't so consistent no more. And Anthony's doing an amazing job. Awesome. So it looks like my progress bar, I don't know if it's catching up, but it's a little bit behind. We're about halfway, so I don't know why the blue bar's so far behind. Steventon V4 will be available on Friday the 12th of June. Friday this week. Any tips for aptitude testing? Just got through to the next stage. I went for my aptitude tests and one on for my interview a long time ago, 15, 16 years, and even back then I used some website. What it was, I have no idea, but nowadays there must be so much available for you to use. I'm afraid I'm of little help in that regard. Cool, so almost halfway. We've got Disco and Sol Zanko next. Zamora. DSAT 4 now. And based off our target rate of descent, 156 miles to top of descent. It's getting great performance out of the add-on as well. It's really FPS friendly. Ruben, you attempted to take the 732. Well, yeah, MogF's on Sunday, so you've got time to get it and get up to speed with it again. And team, wouldn't all abandon the plane for a few years again after V4. Well, you know, I don't know much. I don't know Jack on a personal level, but you do realise that this developer had a family bereavement, and he's been very open about what he's been through for the last few years and what it meant to him and FlyJSim. So, you know, I don't want to repeat because I don't know any more than what he's posted publicly, but this guy's been through the mill and back, so, you know, give him a bit of a break. The Dash 8's received updates throughout that period of time, but recently posted, and it's back, working on V4, and here it is. Yeah, like I say, you know, elevator, pitch mode, and CWS, the ability to only maintain altitude, and of course you can follow an ILS and whatnot. It isn't as difficult as you think it is, okay? You just turn off outhold and pitch. You set your rate of descent, or set your attitude, and off you go. Just got to maintain awareness of your altitude and ensure you level off. Fix it to take a feed and pop. No, there's no ability to follow any vertical profile apart from a glide slope. But the Sperry Autopilot linked to the UNS, like with the real aircraft, can fly RNAV approaches. So it can follow a sort of pre-built glide path in the FMS in approach mode. you're going to have to do the descent yourself. However, with the UNS, it will give you a target rate of descent and your vertical deviation from your vertical profile, which you can then adjust to sort of keep it at 0 essentially, which I'll show you in descent today. Remember, 2 days to get familiarised again. We'll put it this way: I only installed it yesterday, and after work, 4 sectors, and I did the test sector yesterday. It only took me that to get up to speed. Watched some of my old, I usually watch one of my old streams to refresh my knowledge. Awesome. Making great progress so far. Sweet. So once it's level, once it's leveling out a hole, the workload's quite low. Look at that, 70 knot headwind. Ouch. Turn on weather radar. Oh yeah, TCAS. If you want to turn that off and display. Have your display as an arc, ground speed. That's useful. A little bit of things you can, a few things you can adjust here. So select no small bearings. Nav aids. Don't need those on. Oh, this is 10 change. Oh, how many you can see on one page, I think. Obvious. Yeah, magenta's your active route, white's your planned. Beautiful over Madrid. Apart from Santiago, our destination, where I think the cloud base is dropping. What have we got now? 90 minutes ago. Broken at 600. Oh my goodness me, we have to do an ILS in anger. 14 degrees, QNH 1025. Tempo scattered 600. Forecast. All the way to the 8th. So between now and 2000 Zulu, broken at 200. Uh-oh, that's right on minimums. 3,000 metres of drizzle. It's typical weather for Santiago de Compostela. It's a beautiful part of Spain. It's very popular with the nationals. It's a lot greener, a lot of forest, gets all the weather from the Atlantic. And because of the elevation though, you're in the clouds. I think I can even see it on the horizon. Gnarly. Jamlin, hope you're doing well. Anyone else tried the early access running train? Graphics gameplay very impressive for a single dev. I've not heard of that. I actually installed City Skylines too. I think the developer behind that game has changed, or the people that make the add-on, and it's actually getting quite good reviews now. So might have a little play with that at some point. Just such a good luck. We're all counting on New Year's. I think I'll need it today. Oh, Mr. Scooty, is the airport still closed in real life? Yeah, I didn't realise it was closed in real life. What's that for? Is that for construction work or something? Okay, Jeremy, cool. I like trying sim well, but using the Unreal Engine 5. Sounds like it looks very good. I've done the odd train sim on the second channel. It's always been a good laugh. Anyway, let's tune up Zamora's back up. Got there 1171. And we're active. There's the RMI coming alive. You should also, because you've got no digital ident, get the nav aid manually. So dash dash dot dot. Dash dash dot dash dot. There you go. I don't know more, so I'm just going to chart in front of me. Tobacco, how's the new grill you got? Funny enough, I only acquired a gas bottle on Wednesday last week, and then I went on holiday for a few days, so I haven't had a chance to actually test it out. The gas bottle's connected and it's working, but LPG gas in the UK is really hard to source if you're a new customer. So Calor and Flowgas, the main two LPG gas providers in the UK for bottled gas, they've got no patio gas in stock, and they'll only give you a gas bottle if you have one already to exchange. To get a new bottle, they're not giving them any out anymore. Thankfully, my mother-in-law has a friend at a garden centre who managed to find one and passed it over to me. So I've got it connected, it works. I just need a nice day to test it out. Plan is Sunday to do it. Jamlin, yes, that's the recommendation I was given, and also Facebook Marketplace. But I've just been too busy to go get it. But now I have one. Now I've got one, I should be able to exchange at any point. Plugged it in, all looking good. F1, yeah, would you feel comfortable flying this version of the plane in this day and age? It certainly requires some sort of getting used to. I'd love to give it a go, and I should definitely think I'd have a good crack at navigating it and using the Sperry Autopilot. But I'd like the familiarity of an NG or Max, that's for sure. Romulus, do they not sell gas grills anymore in the UK? Oh, they do, by the thousands. Gas grills are really popular. It's just because of the war in Iran. LPG gas prices have shot up, and there's no supply. It's very difficult to get a new bottle or an existing one. The only way to seem to be able to do it is if you know someone, or buy an empty bottle on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or whatever, Craigslist, I guess, if you're in the US, and you can then exchange it with one of the large gas companies for a new one. So I don't know if there's a shortage of bottles or gas, I don't know, but yeah, all good. Gosh, we've digressed from the stream. But yes, I can't wait to use my barbecue. Guys, 92 miles to top of descent, 13 minutes, so we'll start setting up for the approach. The idea is we're going to utilise UNS navigation all the way in via Zamora Desat and then Forno, which is the beginning of the arrival. So remember, the autopilot is really basic, this Sperry SP-77. I can only use control wheel steering, out hold, turbulence hold, where apparently if you're in turbulence it just sort of does its best to hold an altitude. But essentially we're going to manage our vertical path with the control wheel steering. So we're going to have to descend via Forno, Sierra Tango 400, Sierra Tango 401, nominal. It's all high terrain, so we're going to comply with these maximum levels. The good news is all of these are coded in the FMC look, and you can sort of see if you're above them. So you can see at Normu we're going to be at 6,500, 401, 10,900, so a lot higher. Now, it's only from Normu, if you look here, not very far till touchdown, and I found if I set a hard altitude of Normu at 5,500, it's only about 1 dot below the glide slope. So what I'm going to do is set a hard altitude of 5,500 at Normu. So to do that, you simply select this, put in your altitude, enter, and you'll see it'll have a little @ symbol. So now it's recalculating the descent profile, which you can't get the autopilot to follow, you have to do it manually to rebuild a path. And by doing that, you'll probably see that it's brought my excuse me, my top of descent a little closer. So if I was to start descending now, to be level at 20,337 feet, I need a 1 degree path and descend at 696 feet per minute. Right at top of descent, this will show 2,500. Oh cool, we can pop out the UNS, that's nice. So we just have to wait till then, and then we have to manually set our descent path using CWS. The great thing is, on the VNAV page or perf page, I'm not sure what it is, you can actually see if you're high or low based off this glide path angle, which is great because you can just simply make an adjustment to your attitude using CWS and fly onto the path, which is neat. Friendship-ish, long time no speak, 47 months as a member. I believe CWS was the way these old birds were mostly flown. at least at outhold, more comfortable than most of the rudimentary modes available. You're quite right, and it's all it has anyway, so the only way you can use the autopilot to pitch is CWS. So I've never spoken, well, I have actually flown with a lot of actually X200 guys when I was a first officer 15, 16 years ago, but I can't remember any particular conversation about the autopilot. I knew they used to fly right below the barber's pole all the time, but that's about it. But yeah, it is cool. Welcome back, Jack. Yeah, CWS is cool as, you know what, even the Q4 XP sort of has it. That's cool. I mean, it's on the NG, it's on the Max. We, during the type rating, demonstrate control wheel steering. And how it works is, on the NG and Max, two functions of CWS. You have CWS in command, where it'll still level off at an altitude. You do that by deselecting modes. You then have CWS by pushing the button, which is CWS in Flight Director, where you just set an attitude or set a bank and it will just hold it. But in 8,000 hours, 15, 16 years or whatever I've been flying, I've never selected control wheel steering. There you go. Marty, good afternoon, Captain. Finally managed to catch a stream. Really enjoyed the content. I'm an engineer for Collins Aerospace. Amazing. 32 decided to start becoming a pilot. First lesson in a few weeks. Amazing. Great career change. Great age for the career change as well. Best of luck with your plans. Jack, how's it flying? Have you done any hand flying yet? I really like how the XP12 model feels. Yeah, compared to your XP11 model, and I think I commented in the past about the pitch and the way the flight controls react to inputs. Having sped that up in XP12 is making the aircraft a lot more dynamic. I've not flown the 200, but it feels like the 7.3 with the inputs. So if I make full pitch and roll inputs, I'm getting the responses that I expect. I mentioned in the streamers chat in your Discord and to the feedback to the devs that I had some weird yawing at short final, but I understand from Amy that this is an ongoing issue with X-Plane itself as opposed to the add-on. So I think she commented that the short stubby ailerons, wings don't really help in that regard to stability around the normal axis. So yeah, otherwise it's a fine add-on. Really enjoy flying it. FMA, good afternoon, thank you. Yes, I'm FlyJSim always am, if I can be. Right, anyway, sorry, we were halfway through setting up this aircraft, 56 miles to the top of the descent. So the plan is, we've already modified the altitude to comply with these restrictions. You have to hold a normal if you're not cleared by the initial approach fix. There's no ATC today. We'll have to just be careful with the weather. It's not very nice. Latest weather 29 minutes ago, broken at 600, brilliant. But the UNS has the ability to hold all these features, which is pretty cool. Essentially, we're going to do the normal transition onto the ILS. We can start setting this up now. So ILS frequencies, we'll put 1115 on standby. 1115. Check on the Santiago VOR now. 16.4. Oh, might as well make that active. 1164. There we go. Course is 347 now. I don't think. Oh, I can change the FO's course. I don't know if Amy's around the chat. Yeah, the captain's course is frozen whilst you're using the UNS FMS, so you have to use heading select and head. This is, I know it looks strange, but this is the correct way of using UNS as per the real aircraft. It's slaved to the heading select mode, and you switch this to GPS. But I don't know how you adjust it to basically get it to follow the path or change the course in this mode. Do I briefly go to conventional navigation? I can try that. Let me just briefly go to conventional. So I'll match the heading bar. Heading selects. So nav. Oh look, I can now set the course. There we go. 347. Back to GPS. Reselect, heading select. There we are, it's definitely engaged. Cool. There we are, so I've got the course set. But it's gone back to the, it's gone back to 305. Will it revert? Oh, I think it's just reset to your inbound course on the UNS. Maybe I'll just have to set it up before the ILS. Tomago, I noticed not a lot of green names today. Yeah, I don't know where all the members have gone. Like I said, there's loads of people here who used to be in the streams, but there's quite a few members, but we do get a lot of members in chat. But yeah, it's all good. Got lots of guys at Discord, and hopefully we'll get a few dozen of you in the next members group on Sunday. Evening, Greg Scott. You're doing well, buddy. Alright, anyway, frequency, we've got the ILS on standby, 1115. The course I might have to update just before we intercept the localizer. Height check platform 3,000 feet, setting on a 3-degree ILS. Minimums then, so there's no way of... Oh no, I can set a DH on the radio altimeter, and that's better than nothing, so... You wouldn't set radio altitude for a Cat 1 ILS typically, but we'll set 241 feet. 260 I think to the nearest 20 feet, that will do. So we'll get a yellow light approaching minimums roughly. Careful of this then, because the visibility is dropping with the 800 meters RVR. Okay, high terrain everywhere, 5,500 to the southeast will comply with the step down altitudes. The missed approach, go around flat 15, set ground thrust, gear up, fly raw data. We're going to fly inbound 167 radial, cross the VOR, outbound on the reciprocal radial 347, 5 miles left turn, max 240, climbing to 4,000 feet and enter a hold, and then we'll essentially do another procedural approach. Cool, alright. Wrong runway, 10,400 feet, 3,170 metres, ideally I'm going to vacate an Echo 2, and I haven't worked out yet with the buckets and XP12's control binding how to select reverse thrust. I think I've got it now set so I can get the buckets to deploy, but if I add thrust it stows the buckets, because if I use max reverse and then I stow them you get the engine surging, which is undesirable, but we'll give it a go today. But yeah, nice long runway. There's no landing performance calculator, however you can go to your V card and set your bugs. So we'll land with flap 30 today, it's a nice long runway. VREF 129, set bugs, your speeds then, I'm not sure what the white bugs represent, but you've got 129 here for VREF, so VFly will be 134. What's the wind doing? Yeah, wind's 12 knots, so VFly will be 134, 135. QNH will preset later, that's QNH right now, where we are, and give it a rest later. Auto brake will set to medium, should do us. I think a few other people have requested this, hopefully in an update we'll have the V-speed card here, which will be useful to reference all the time. Ricardo, this does not have auto throttle, no auto throttle. I'm fully responsible for this thrust myself. 3 minutes, 20 miles till top of descent. Covered everything here. Jack, wish I could have spent more time on this. It's certainly usable. I think a lot of people would be happy to take this as in its current state on Friday. However, you know, if you get any other time, little quirk, little fix here and there, I'm sure people would really appreciate that. Tobacco auto throttle's the first officer, absolutely. Oh, Jack, yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, I've tried to make as many people aware of your post that you made in Discord as well, as to why it's been so long, but hey ho, here it is. A lot of people have been waiting for this aircraft in the next round 12. Cool. 14 miles, you should get a message as well. I don't know what that button does. Oh yes, you get all your vertical information, all the rates of descent. So there's the message that will say top of descent alert. 12 miles to go. So I'm going to actually start reducing thrust a little bit here to bring the speed back to around 250 knots in the descent. So there's the thrust coming off. Indicated airspeed should start reducing now. There it goes. Oh, Jack, you've been through the mill, as we say in England. You look after yourself, buddy. Right, Oscar, the number of times I've stalled the signal levelling off after descent. Good teaching tool. Yes, don't forget to add thrust. One of the training exercises we do in recurrent training is actually in descent you disconnect the auto throttle. Obviously on the NG and Max you've got the big blinking red light, which is great. but just to make sure crew are monitoring the FMAs when you level off, because obviously in descent your throttle is typically at idle, and then if you miss it, the speed will reduce and you can potentially stall. Alright, 4 miles till top of descent. Gosh, she's a slipping plane. Reduce thrust further. Yeah, fuel flow needs to increase slightly. We'll check on landing to remind me. Oh my gosh, that's a weird contrail. Is that a pit special? Oh my gosh, what on earth? It's a UFO. It's a Robinson R22. Impressive. Oh no, it's not a Robinson R22, it's that business jet. Is he slewing? It looked like a helicopter. But interesting behaviour of that aircraft ahead. Yeah, I'm curious as to whether it's still fancy. There we are, vertical deviation. We can start descending, turn off out hold, off, reduce thrust slowly to idle, and then use CWS to just pitch down. There we are, pitching down. And then I'll just maintain about 250 knots in pitch, or maybe 270, I'll go a bit faster. Don't forget to update your altitude alert, so we'll set that to our minimum level on this sector. Let's just go to the higher airway chart just to be safe. It is 9.5, so we'll set 9.5. We'll try not to go below that. Don't forget, it will not level off automatically. 9.5 set. Okay, so we can have a look here. We are a little bit high on path, about 490 feet. So what I can do is just pitch down a little more. Just give myself about 2,500 feet per minute, because that's at least what I need. Otherwise, I'm going to get high. There you go. That's about 4,000 feet per minute. It's a bit excessive, but there you go. You'll see the vertical deviations now coming back towards me, so you can monitor your descent path as you go. 42 MERS, thank you. 34 months as a memo. Curious as to how accurate the top of descent is. I need to assume the FMC doesn't plan for decel points or CDAs. It doesn't. It's just a simple vertical path based off your target vertical speed, and that's how it works. You just pitch then the aircraft in CWS, which is what I'm doing. Remember, you can't see me all the time, but I'm making adjustments to the elevator now using the control column to get back onto the vertical profile. And there's my target vertical speed. I can set that if I can try 2,400, which is pretty much what I've got. You see how the vertical deviation is pretty stagnant now, so that's it. Just monitor your speed. I don't mind if it slowly accelerates. We'll take it. Landing's very nice. Much better than in X-Men level. Jack, I'm sure the 7.2 would receive a lot of attention as well if that was to come in as well. RTC Mail, CWS descent always fun, just don't walk away. No, you've got to really monitor it at all times. There we are, look. There we go. So that's about 280 knots indicated, but she's quick in descent, look. Indicated airspeed or VMO's increasing, it's around 340 knots, so there's lots of room for manoeuvre here. I just dipped slightly below par, so what I'll do is pitch up ever so slightly, just a tiny input. I mean, I can show you my yoke as well. See how it moves and sort of stays in the same position. Now it's coming slowly back to me. It's actually quite easy to manage. Thrust management and speed management is much more difficult. Yeah, you know, if ATC wants to fly specific speeds as well. Right, as forecast, the weather is getting worse as we continue northwest. I've got the VOR here tuned for Santiago, pretty much on the field, 60 miles. This is the distance to the UNS waypoint. Pop on the seatbelts now. Please extinguish your pipes. Manuel, your old base, Santiago, very cool. Yeah, I looked on the stream map. We've not been to Santiago before. Which here both handle really nicely. All the 7.3s have flown in X-Men handle well. So keep on that. Minus 120 feet. Superb. That is great. Look at the missed approach hold there as well. See, I love the inclusion of the MFD 640, just so you can check your routing and make sure the aircraft's navigating correctly. Superb. Right, where's that zigzagging aircraft gone? I mean, if there's no ATC... Oh, just got an update on the weather. Okay, broken at 900, scattered at 900 as well. So it is IMC. So that's actually quite nice. That target rate of descent now around 2,200. Ever so slightly harm profile, so just pitch down ever so slightly. You can see the CWS input there, speed decreasing. And there we are. Pointing it back towards path. It's great. You've got this little flight director for pitch command. I mean, you can set it to match it, but I don't see the point. Awesome. Now we're on to the 401 Foxtrot. Just started near arrival or above the minimum flight level. Quite some margin. This should be a continuous descent. Just watching the speed, 290 knots. Don't mind slightly dipping below path. You can always use speed brake to bring the speed back. Ronovsky, hello. Look outside of course. Hold on, I'll just turn the sound up slightly. Cheers. All white today. Taking this on VATSIM in a busy event would be fun. Sweet. Jack's putting it really nicely, yeah, it's like a big GA aircraft. Alright, how's my vertical deviation? Good, good, good. Yeah, it's slightly below path. I might just squeeze out a little bit of speed brake because we need 300 knots, approaching the next waypoint. Yeah, let's check out a little bit of speed brake. Flight D10, there we go, it's doing the trick. No, alpaca livery, yeah, we actually have one, I think. Oh, that's actually, I think that's affected by CWS, look, it's actually pitched down to around 3,000 feet per minute, so I'm going to pitch up a little bit more now. So I don't want to dip too below path, because obviously there's high terrain here, so I'm just going to pitch up to around. Yeah, that's interesting. So, extending the speed brake adjusted my rate of descent. I thought it's just holding an attitude. White is good, great for spotting cracks. Okay, next restriction then is 8.5. Step down to that. Remember, it won't level off there, it's just an alert, which is good. Good for situation awareness. Further. I'm just going to update my V-speeds. Set bugs. It's about the same still. 135 V-fly. Awesome. So this is an old aeroplane. Can you get yelled at for using the lever of shame? Oh, I hate this term. Lever of shame. QNH for later then is 1025. I'm just going to set that on the standby altimeter as a reminder. Okay, 250 knots. Again, I'm just dipping ever so slightly below park, which is not desirable, so I'm just going to pitch up a little bit more and I'll stow the speed brake now. She's a slippy old bird. Park's going back. Target rate of descent to keep on my profile is 1800 feet per minute. I'm doing 1500 to catch up on the vertical deviation. Speed about 251 knots. 42 Merv, you could fly the NG like this, you just need to disable half the MCP and turn down the illumination of the PFD watching the standby instruments. Yes, pretty much identical then. Where's all the temperature gauges in this tank anyway? Total temperature's just above 10. Static? Where's static? Where's my big old thermometer? Can't see it. Oh, might need a bit of engine anti-ice then. Temperature's 15 degrees in Santiago. Alright, cool. Passing ST401, next waypoint. Step down to the altitude at Nolmu, 5,500 feet. The post cruise checks now because the elevation is 1,200 feet here, so lights on. And the bank can't set, pressurization's good, belts on, recall. Checks complete. Cheers, Windcheer, glad you enjoyed the 7-3 content on the channel. Amy, that's because it holds a pitch and not a flight path angle. Since the speed brakes dump some lift, it would have to pitch up a bit to hold constant lift. So when you use CWS, is it actually pitching for a vertical speed or an attitude? That's quite interesting with regards to moving the speed brake. Anyway, speed's okay, 255 knots below 10,500. Pretty much on par. Look at that, getting a little bit higher again now. So I'll just pitch down a little more. Just a bit of speed brake and start reducing to the up speeds. Around 200 knots. And we're within 1 mile now, ST401. Yep, we can step down to 5,500 feet, which is the altitude set QNH of 1025. Personally, it's cheating, but I do love the ability to sync altimeters on add-ons, so that's an option be added. That'd be great. And into the soup we go. Next thing we're going to see is the runway at about 1,000 feet. A long time ago, Manuel, I flew into Santiago when I was based in Spain. Long time ago. Alright, cool. So approaching Nolmu now. I think we can switch to conventional navigation because we can intercept the ILS from this heading. So what we're going to do is just make sure the heading bug's matched. Turn off nav. Make sure I'm in heading select. Match the course to the ILS 347. Make the ILS active 115. I have got glide slope and localizer deviation information. Superb. Speed to 250 knots. Awesome. 19 miles to run. Start pitching up slightly. I'll start doing 1,000 feet per minute now. Just using CWS, so you can see what I'm doing. Still got the speed brake out. There we are. Great sensing, arming Vorlock. Vorlock arms. Oh gosh, I completely forgot about that. So, there's no ATC, there's just that one guy. Speed brakes out to bring the speed back. Are we going for a localizer glide slope capture simultaneously? Yes, I am. 5,500 feet after Nolmu. I think I can step down to 4,000 feet. So 1 mile before we'll go down to 4,000. So just again, pitch up slightly. 1,000 feet per minute is fine. Stow into speed brake. We have inbound now to centre fix. Step down to 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet is set. Localizer alive, localizer capture. Set runway heading 347. And I'm 1 dot below the glide slope. Auto approach. Glide slope armed. And I'm just going to pitch up ever so slightly to get onto the glide slope. At 500 feet per minute, and I'm below 230 knots. I can select flap 1. Above 180 knots. I think I can go straight to flat 5 below 225, yeah. So below 225, select flat 5. Oh, it's just a work of art. Fantastic work, Jack. Glide slope capture, missed approach altitude 4,000 feet is set. And now I can select the flight directors to auto approach. So there we are, that's going to give me the guidance I need. We're on the glide slope, guys. You can fly RMP approaches using UNS-1 negative KD, which is pretty cool. Alright, elevation here is 1200 feet, so we are only 4,000 feet above the runway here. Flap 5 on a glide slope is just about holding the speed, same as the NG and max to be fair. So let's go flap 10, max speed 210 knots. Yeah, that's fine. Speed check flap 10. I'll arm the speed brake. This is sweet add-on. It's a little bit off the localizer, hopefully it will correct. It's on localizer's engaged, courses are set correctly. Oh gosh, he's struggling to slow down with flap 10. Flap 10 180, I'm at 10 miles here. I'm about to drop the gear soon. I'm going to bug 165 and use the speed brake. He's really struggling to slow down. Slippy plane, 160. 160, but flap 10, speed brake, and it's barely slowing down. Oh. I might have to drop the gear. So, there she goes, slowly. 9 miles, 180 knots. Come up to 180 knots. Yeah, she just feels slippy. It feels slippier than an NG and max. And it's working though. Speed brake, bring the speed back. It's a standby attitude indicator, the square. It's like a round gauge. Coming out the suit. Might not be as bad as. There's a bit of noise on my speed brake there. It's making like clunky sounds. Alright, cool. 8 miles. Altitude alert. That's just from the 4,000 feet set on the altitude alert display. We'll configure at about 6 miles today as we are on IMC. Superb, there's 165 knots. Stone speed brake. What's all this clunky noise going on with it? There we are, speed brake armed. 6 miles, so gear down. Flap 15. Love these sounds. Match the final approach speed, which will be 143, wasn't it, I think. Starting some thrust. Flap 25, flap 30. She's on the localizer, she's on the glide slope. I can't remember what my final approach speed was. Oh, sorry, 135. 135, okay. Did a thrust off. She's just correcting onto the glide slope. Alright, landing checklist. Star switches continuous, recall checked, speed brake on green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake is set to medium, flaps are 30, green light, lights on, checklist is complete. So we fly about 135 knots. Here we go, boys and girls, disconnecting. Now there doesn't seem to be any autopilot disconnect horn, but yeah. Speed's okay. Whoa! So X-Plane has some weird external inputs at the moment, which is pushing the plane around quite a lot. And you can see it's yawing slightly. I'm not making any rudder inputs. Close to the ground, it becomes very yawry. Speeds want to be about 134 knots, so just adding some thrust. It's just so unstable in a roll. I think the roll rate could be a little quicker. I don't know. Especially with the short aileron, so that's full left. Yeah, I feel like it could roll a bit quicker. Just comparing to the NG and max, especially in fact it has that much shorter wingspan. Correcting glide a bit high, then 1 dot high look. So a bit of thrust off to maintain the speed. No more than 1,000 feet per minute really here. There we are, back on glide. She's rocking all over. I feel like it's really being hampered by XP12's weather, like the inputs that you get. The external output inputs there. Come on, speed. It's a bit like my short this is. Oh. Quite trim, a little bit off centre line. There you go, it's yawing again. Keep getting 1 dot high, keep correcting. Back on vertical profile. Speed's good. There you go, yawing right. No, I've not made a single rudder input at all on this approach.
400.
Checked. Woo! Continue.
200.
Here we go. Bit high. Check. Close. Wings level. Oh, come on. Runway goes a bit down slope here. Oh, come on. Minus 13. You saw it here, ladies and gentlemen. Minus 13. 80 knots. My goodness me. 60 knots. Manual braking. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Santiago. Now, that was a combination of factors, okay? One of them is X-Plane's live weather wreaking havoc on aircraft at the moment. Secondly, X-Plane map enhancement has put a massive downslope on runway 35. Look, you can't even see the threshold. See how upslope it is? You'll see on the replay. Can you see how... So basically I was falling down the whole time following the runway. If I go here, look how downslope it is. So I was just falling towards the runway the whole time. That's why we didn't land or floated for so long. So, you know, that's the main reason. It's made the runway into a bit of a ski ramp. Anyway, we're down, and we managed to get the butteriest butter I've ever seen. Minus 13. Yeah. Runway. I have to say, Santiago's runway is downsloped. I don't think it's as downsloped as that, though. Is it? It might be. I don't know. Either way, we floated down that downslope. And we missed the planned exits. Good job, it's a long runway. Anyway, look, short taxi. We've vacated the runway, and we will take stand number. Let's go in front of the control tower, stand 24. But yeah, look, you can see here the upslope is insane. The level of this apron here is bonkers. Yeah, HDSim, yeah, I should probably flatten this airport. It probably needs it. I had to in Valencia, that's for sure. Right, stand 24 we'll take. We'll do the cleanup now. Reset the trim. Out off. No flight direct. Oh, yeah, we can turn that off actually. Sorry, that's manual. They can come off. Strobes. Had a bit of thrust to get up this ridiculous hill. Probes off. And start the APU. Perfect. Stand 24. Did your PPL there, pilot tray? Is it sloped as that? Oh, yeah, those wheel brakes. Either way, it helped with the butter. My goodness, that was a float. But yeah, I mean, within the last 500 feet in X-Plane, there's sort of weird things going on with aircraft. The aircraft's just yawing, so I'm having to make lots of aileron inputs and the rudder inputs in the flare to keep it on centerline, keep the wings level. There we are. Yeah, the sounds are super. Really nice. Left turn. There we are. Oh, anyone standing is no longer standing. Right, parking brake is set, AP available. There we are. Oh, 2 blues, 1 red, engines are dead. There we are, N2 reducing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Santiago de Compostela. Fantastic. What a flight. Great to have this aircraft back. What a landing. There we go. Little short sector of the 200. What do you think, guys? I think it's back. Needs a little bit of tweaking here and there, but working really nicely in X-Plane 12. I think the aileron, yeah, a little bit more roll rate perhaps. Pitch is fine. It has plenty of pitch authority. Feels really good in that regard. But yeah, really, really nice. Sounds like you're describing Microsoft Flight Sim's old realistic turbulence model. Yeah, it does sort of feel like that. Oh my goodness me. But yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, to be fair, it sounds like I've not been in Santiago for a really long time. It does sound like it is downslope. But if you look here from this point of view and zoom in, I mean, look at, you can see it here, look. Is it as sloped as that? That's insane. And that's what happened, guys. Look. Look at the lights going down. Essentially, I was in the flare and going all the way down this continuously. That's why I couldn't land. And it was the same on my test sector. I just kept sinking nicely onto the runway. Oh, in real life it's even worse. Oh, fair enough. We'll take it. To be fair, I think the ground effect modelling and X-plane aircraft have a tendency to float a little more than they do in real life. So a combination of that explains whether the downslope meant we floated and floated and floated. In real life, idle thrust, you know, with all that flap out, it would soon decelerate quite quickly and lose lift and settle on the gear. But she floated a long time there. But anyway, there we are. We'll do some replays and have a look at what it looked like from outside, because that was unbelievable. But what can I say? Welcome back, FlyJSim. Amazing. Well, the aircraft should, well, I think it's been put in as being released on Friday the 12th of June. This Friday upcoming. I have no information on pricing, I'm afraid, but lots to look forward to. Essentially, it's been revamped to work in XP12. You've got the swappable digital radio, ADF we didn't use today, lib radio integration, so much accurate radio range behaviour and degradation of signals. You've got the gravel kit option, which we're going to do some streams with later on this week, with the kit option. The custom Sperry Autopilot is amazing. I love the authenticity of that. The integration of the UNS-1 FMS, you can actually route using existing airways today, and as airlines are, the integration display as well. So really, really nice to see it coming, and I hope you guys enjoy flying it on Friday. Amazing. Right, I logged off of VATSIM, so there's no ATC. Should we take a look at that bonkers replay? I've got to make a short of that runway. That landing. -13. I think that's got to be a record of the hundreds and hundreds of X-plane 12 streams I've done. I don't think I've had one less than that. -13. That was just unbelievable. Thanks for your subscription, Windows 2014. Amazing. Right then, let's have a look at the replay there. It's going to look absolutely insane. Where's my replay music? Here it is. Right. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, let's drag this back. Right, I mean, just look at it from the cockpit first. I mean, look at the control inputs I had to make. Look at that. Full left, full right, bit of left rudder. Falling away from the runway. Falling. Oh, I was in the touchdown zone though. Right. Let's have a look at... I mean, look, you can't even see the aircraft from the threshold. But let's have a look at it anyway during the flare. Oh my gosh. Enjoy the sounds, because they are amazing. Let me just crank up the volume here. It's as loud as it goes. Oh, look at the yaw. Look, it's yawing with no rudder input. Oh, amazing sounds. So you'll notice the nose wheel's turning a little excessively. Oh my goodness me. So now I was using rudder to stay on the centre line. The flaps weren't up, it's just on the replay. There's the touchdown. There you go, flap 30, but I think on the replay the visuals are broken. So that's something hopefully they'll fix on the replays, as the flaps will be up. Leading edge devices have extended. Let's have a look. There we are. Let's have a look from this angle here. I mean, if the flaps were actually in that position, it would probably have landed like that. But I don't know why the flaps haven't extended. Here we go. It's a very shallow attitude, actually. That's what a -13 touchdown looks like. love the buckets. Oh, so cool. And the reverse has worked. With adding thrust as well. Ah, there they are, the clam doors closing. Turns on a dime. Absolutely stunning. Let's have a look at the towers view. Oh, might not see it for the pixelated screen, but we'll have a quick look. Gotta remember, these are all default airports in X-Plane, guys. Oh no, it's, the screen's gonna be in the way. Never mind. One more view from here then. Is it realistic that the nose wheel steering is active when in the air? No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be turning like that. I think there's limitations with this add-on, but hopefully they'll be able to adjust it so it doesn't turn. There's a little bit of nose wheel artillery. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of input, but not as much as that. It's about 6 degrees in the NGM max. Oh, lovely. Oh, I think that's great. Well, even though the flaps are up, we've got to do the clam door. Actually, probably no. That's a better view. You can see the airport. Let's look up from the wing view then to sign out today. Well, there we are. Once again, thank you very much to FlyJSim and Jack for sending me early access to the FlyJSim 737-200 out this Friday, 12th of June 2026 for you to enjoy in X-Plane 12. Going to plan a couple more streams in this aircraft. Got to do something with the gravel kit, so I'll see where in real life they fly to in gravel runways. We'll replicate one of those ops. And land with the gravel kit somewhere, probably in Alaska, won't it, to some gold mine in the middle of nowhere, but we'll have a look at that. Anyway, guys, look after yourselves. Thank you very much for popping into the stream. Thank you very much to the members for your continued support. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you on another live stream very, very soon. Cheerio!